Morning all, how are we doing? Whoops. How's everybody doing this morning? All good? Just looking at the gap fill on the DAX at the moment. Potentially, we've got a gap fill in play this morning. It's a fairly decent sized one this morning. So, got a buy stop sitting just above this area here. Excuse me. And then I'll add in if we get the break of the high. And see if we can get that filled at the open. Plenty of room up there. So the volatility we've had at the opens recently, there's every chance we can get that filled at the open. So we'll see what happens. Morning Rahat, morning Jacob. News-wise today, we've got Euro news at 10 o'clock, which is doesn't tend to do an awful lot really. Can move the euro a little bit, but not really red news. Main event today is CPI at 1:30, an hour before New York Open. That's when we'll see the majority of movement, if we're going to get movement off the news today. But I've got a feeling today is going to be a fairly unvolatile day as far as this CPI is concerned, because of the sheer amount of news we've got coming up in the next 2 days. It's one of the busiest news weeks I've seen for ages. It's just the fact that we've got like euro, US dollar, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, yen, pound, New Zealand. Literally every major is being represented. We've got a little bit of yen in there as well, with Garoda. But so it's going to be a busy one next 2 days. So we might see a little bit of sideways today, but we'll see. CPI quite often will move fairly hard, so we'll see what happens. Morning, Mace, Llewellyn, Diamond. Overall DAX to the downside, yeah. Overall, long term, yeah. Short DAX. Just to give you a quick overview, yesterday got stopped out this morning on that New Zealand dollar, US dollar long. It's back up at sort of break even now. Would be if I hadn't stopped out. So I got stopped out of that one. I've also got Euro New Zealand running short. It hasn't really gone anywhere since I got in yesterday. I think I got in London yesterday, didn't I? So yeah, that hasn't gone anywhere. It's in profit, but it's not really got anywhere yet. I've also got oil on, which has come back into profit. Just about to hit my TP on the gap fill. Oh, look at that. Hopefully it's just about to hit my TP on the gap fill. So I've got one on there, and I've got a second position here, which I'm letting run. The runner's going up to these highs here. 103.80 level. I think that's all I've got on. Euro New Zealand. Oh yeah, and Swiss yen. Forgot about him. Swiss yen, that's in drawdown at the moment, as the yen's pushing. I'm starting to toying with the idea. I'm watching this basically, toying with the idea of starting a position short on this Swiss yen. Just because we've got so many yen pairs. Wow, DAX is coming down pretty hard. We've got so many yen pairs at the moment, which are pushing hard, and we've got so many yen pairs approaching really good levels. So I'm toying with the idea of starting a position on this one. US dollar yen, I've also got a pending order, which is just about to be triggered at this 10-year high, 125.830. We almost hit it yesterday. I've got my little alert set there, which is just above yesterday's high. So they kind of reached up for it yesterday. So they've put it within reaching point. I think they're going to trigger this today by the looks of things. So we'll see what happens. But this is a major level. Quite often with these levels, we do get through them. But we don't get through them convincingly. We tend to get sort of half an ADR to an ADR move through them, and then we come back out of them. So quite often we will also obviously hit them virtually to the pip or within 10, 15, 20 pips, and then we will move from there, because there's going to be a lot of limit orders sitting there along with mine. So we'll see what happens when we get there. So that's an interesting one to watch, US dollar yen. My charts, where's my other? Yeah, I've got that down on my bottom right. So I'll be watching that one. Oh, sorry, cancel that pending order off. That was the wrong button. Buy stop. It's just adding another buy stop on that. So that's news covered. That's the positions I've got open at the moment. News overnight. There's been a fair bit of news this morning, mainly to do with UK unemployment figures, etc. So it was bang on, basically. German HICP, bang on. Unemployment change, not much different. So the news that we've had hasn't been particularly interesting. That's interesting. Current stability is important, and sudden movement in Forex are understandable. Boom. That obviously has changed and reversed. Japanese PPI is up and down month on month. So yeah, nothing particularly interesting on news. So that's the plan today at the moment. US dollar yen's just reaching yesterday's high at the minute. Nearly there. Could well get that alert going off in a minute. I'll turn the crickets on. Keep them a little bit quiet in the background so they're not annoying. So indices, DAX, obviously we've got a big gap down, so I'm looking for that gap fill this morning. We've broken basically down. The reason for this sudden move is we're down at the 140, 14,000 level, which was is a key level, which we have broken down through now. So there's one of two things at play today potentially. Because we've broken down below that psychological level, we'll see a sell-off in basic across the board in stocks, or we will see them bounce at this level and bring it back up. So to get back up to fill this gap, we've got to cross back over that 14,000 level, which would indicate to people that there is a false breakout going on, and a false breakout will bring in buyers, which will bring us back up into here. So it's difficult call this morning, but I think I'm going to go for the gap fill and see what happens with it. I've got a fairly tight stop on at the moment on this initial position, but what I'm probably going to do is widen that a little bit with any additional positions and give it a little bit of breathing room, but we'll see what the volatility is like at the open. So yesterday we obviously had another down day on the DAX, which is lovely rejection. Got a good trade on that yesterday. Market's open. See where we go. We've had a little bit of a push down so far, obviously at the open, as you can see from when the market opened. So let's see if we can get that push back up today and then pull back down this afternoon. So what would be ideal today would be to break above that 1400 level, fill the gap, and then go south. But hey, market does what it wants. Beautiful down day on the Nasdaq, on the S&P, on the Dow. So the bear market looks still like it's happening, but there is obviously potential for this just to be a pullback push. So at the moment we are in a bear market. It's just a higher, deeper than normal pullback. If you look at this on the weekly, you can see a little bit clearer that this is just a pullback on the first week's move to the 61.8 retracement with a 3-bar reversal. So I think we're still in the bear market, which is good because it gives us a little bit of a directional bias to work with. So some long one on the DAX. Let's Watch the S&P as well. Actually, let's watch the Dow. So yeah, so that's the plan. We'll have a look through all the FX pairs in a minute. We've got no ADRs hit. We've got a weekly range hit on the Swiss yen already, which is the one that I'm in. So we're only on Tuesday. We've already hit the weekly range for that one, so that's good. US dollar, the yen's just tapped up. Oh yeah, it didn't get there, did it? So we'll monitor that one. Come the crickets. Oil's pushing nicely. I think I might have just TP'd on one of my oil positions. Not quite. Still not there. Just about to TP on that first oil. There we go. Come on. There you go. So just TP'd on oil. So that's paid for that New Zealand dollar, US dollar trade yesterday. I'm not going to break even this second position. I'm going to leave it running because I don't want to get stopped out basically on it. Oil's very, as we can see, oil's very up and down at the moment. So I'm going to give it some room to breathe. If I break even this, it's just going to get stopped out, obviously. Looking for some resistance up here, potentially for a bounce back down before next leg up. So difficult to know where you would put your stop if you're going to reduce the risk on it. So I'm just going to leave it on as a normal trade. Obviously, it's a fairly decent risk reward. Just watch this on the 5 minute as well. Okay, just coming down to test the lows. Might get stopped out in this initial position. There we go. So I stopped out on that first one for 0.5%. I'm going to bring this one down. So just above the opening range highs. So I treat that one as an opening range breakout to the upside if we get a push back up. Doesn't look like we are though. Looks like it wants to come down straight away today. This is what I mean about this sell-off. Looks like we're getting the sell-off. We've broken down below this key level, this 14,000 level, somewhere down there. So the market's selling off. Basically doesn't like being down there. Everything's selling off quite hard this morning. Same with the S&P as well. The S&P's below the 4,400 level. A lot of psychological levels being breached at the moment. Nasdaq's just broken down below 14,000 as well. So everything's kind of reaching psych levels at the minute, which is good because we want it down there. Nice rejection on the 1 minute. Going to try another long down the bottom. Got a slightly wider stop on this one. Let's see if we can get that break back above that 14,000. What's going on with everything else? US dollar yen's not gone any higher yet. Oil's stalled. Everything else seemed to have stalled. Just putting that back in with a slightly wider stop on it. Fairly slow this morning. A lot less volatile than yesterday, isn't it? Monday's always a bit more volatile though, but certainly a lot slower than we had yesterday anyway. Rest of the indices are looking a bit bearish as well. They've all sort of come down to, the Dow's come down to Globex lows. S&P's not quite. For indices, where to find exactly market opening time for Frankfurt and New York? Or Frankfurt opens at... Do you mean the exchange or the stock or the floor? The floor opens at 8 o'clock, so trading commences in the Frankfurt exchange at 8 a.m. The exchange itself opens at 7 a.m. UK time. So just convert that to whatever time zone you're in. So this is 7 a.m. UK. The exchange opens for pre-market trading. And then 8 a.m. UK time. Traders start work. And New York is open all. New York trades 24/7 virtually. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange has got the Globex session, but the actual stock market floor opens at 2:30 UK time. That's when the market starts to move at 2:30. DAX just making its hourly wick. Yeah, nice hammer forming there. I mean, that we've got 50 minutes yet. This is not going to be a hammer in 50 minutes time. It's going to be completely different, but good rejection at the moment. Floor timing for indices, yeah. So 8 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. If you want to see on your platform, it's a really easy way to tell. Yeah, if you want to see when the market's open, turn your volume on and change your volume color to something you can see. Yeah. So if you want to see when the market opens, it's a bit difficult to see here because there you go. Yeah. Look at what time that candle is on your broker. So on my broker, it's 10 a.m., which is 8 a.m. UK time, because all 90% of brokers work on GMT plus 2. So 8 o'clock in the morning UK is 10 o'clock in the morning broker time. And if you want to see when the other exchange is open, the New York, yeah, when do you think New York opens? Yeah, every day. 16:30, 16:30, 16:30, 2:30 in the afternoon. That's 14:30 UK time, 16:30 broker time. You can see the volume. Just look at the volume. Tells you when the market's opening. Oops. Morning, Stevie. Okay, so we've got this pre-market support area at the moment, which is the opening range high. So I'm looking for a second position entry on the opening range high. See if we can get the gap done, but it's only pulling back at the minute. Well, it's just pulling back at the moment as well. Volume's really dropped. You can hear there's no tick strike's not doing anything. We are starting to roll over up here, so this is obviously potentially a pullback for a drop lower. So looking for this low really down here not to get invalidated, this opening range low. If we get down below there, potentially we're going lower today. US dollar yen's coming off without getting to this level again, so looking for a pullback. See if we can get one more leg higher at least to get me captured into this order. It'd be very annoying if this disappears to the downside without me, but got the Swiss yen on there. That's back in profit now. Swiss yen's the only thing extended. We'll quickly have a look at the RSIs while we're waiting for the DAX to do something. Swiss yen is the only thing that's really extended on the hourlies at the minute. That's just coming out of an hourly extension from yesterday. This is why I got into this one yesterday. We were obviously very nicely extended on the hourly. Potential multi-day M going in if we get a break of the Asian low here, and obviously get a reversal alert put in. We should be good for a decent drop. I'm targeting this high from yesterday, basically, which is around about 100 ADR. 4 hours, we've got quite a few. We'll have a look at all those in a minute. Nice tweezer bottoms on the 1 minute chart. Oops. I'm just getting ready to get out of this. All the other indices are coming down fairly hard at the minute. Just closing that break even. Nasdaq and the S&P have just made new lows. And the FTSE is trying. And the Dow. So everything else has just made new lows on the session. So I don't really want to risk this. We've got divergence at the moment on the DAX. Everything else is making new lows. DAX has still made a higher low there, but we've also made a lower high. Still fancy the gap fill, but not really got any direction today. Okay, I'm going to try one more on the DAX. Try go long again. It still feels a bit heavy to me at the minute, but we are, apart from that, obviously wick at the open, we are sort of trying to push higher, but not very convincing at the minute. The other indices are still quite heavy. But not dramatically. We're not trending on anything at the minute, really. Good rejection on the Dow. And the S&P's double bottomed, Nasdaq's double bottomed. So potentially this is just a push down rejection. My buy stops have changed colour, look. They must work off of volume. I don't normally have that on silver, don't I? Where's silver? I can never find colours in this thing. Let's just go dark grey. Oh yeah. That line works off of volume for some reason. No idea why. Just reducing risk on this position because bearish engulfing there. It's looking heavy, so I don't want to take a full risk on it. They're all breaking down, so closing out at 0.2. Okay, so are we going short today then? Certainly looking like it. And if so, where are we going? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing recent resistance wise. There's nothing there to stop us until we get down to 13,573, potentially there. But if this is a short today, we could well just trend all the way down there today. So it's always difficult to take a short when you've got a gap in play. So I might just leave that buy stop in place there. That'll get me 0.7% back, which will get me back basically losses of the morning. We're not going anywhere at the moment, so we'll look at the FX pairs in a minute. But I think what I might do is put a sell stop under the lows down there. When we break this level, so we've just basically put in a double bottom there. So if we're going to go short today, if we do go short, I suspect we'll probably trend because there's nothing really down there to stop us as support. If they do the gap fill, obviously chances are they'll probably come and do the gap fill and then start to trend back down in New York. So that's my plan. Those two positions today, and we'll see what we get out of those. I'm just going to target ADR for the minute. Rahat, is break-even size 50% body? What exactly does that mean? Break-even size 50% body. What exactly does it mean? It means it should cover previous candle's body at least 50%. Oh, BE, you mean bearish engulf? Sorry, yeah, bearish engulfing. A bearish engulfing is 100%. So a bearish engulfing is the previous candle's body. Yeah, the body of the next candle has to 100% cover that. Yeah, so there's a bearish engulfing. So pushed up. Yeah, bearish engulfing in this case, if bullish engulfing, obviously if it's the other way, has to completely engulf the previous candle. Yeah. So what it's saying is basically we've pushed up and we have completely undone that move. Yeah. Bearish engulfing. Ticking back up now, look. We're just within a range at the minute, so market's not not going anywhere at the minute. We'll probably get a breakout. We are possibly waiting until 10 o'clock because at 10 o'clock we've got the economic sentiment for Germany. So they may be in a holding pattern until we get that out the way at 10 o'clock this morning. I'm going to have to do a lot of holding patterns basically until 10 o'clock. We've got an hour and a half to go, but who knows. So we'll have a look at the FX pairs and see where we are with FX at the moment. So obviously ADRs, there's nothing hit today. Swiss yen is the one that I'm already in, which has hit its weekly. We are coming off the highs very nicely on that one. US dollar yen, I'm trying to get this order on up here, but it's not letting me at the moment. Hourlies, we've looked at the Swiss yen already. So as far as the 4 hourlies are concerned, there's quite a lot of potentials at the moment, similar to yesterday. So Aussie dollar Swiss, we looked at this one yesterday. We had these lows, which we didn't quite get to. So come off the lows basically there. Didn't get down to the wicks, but nice extended on the 4 hourly. Big strong push. A couple of flags in there, but nothing dramatic. So yeah, good potential reversal happening now on that one. If you wanted to get in on that one on M15, you would have had the alert yesterday. Oh, sorry, this morning. You would have had one yesterday as well there. You'd have got an alert on that candle yesterday, and then they took the liquidity twice. And now they've reversed again. Now they're off with it. So pretty good reversal yesterday and this morning on that one. Nice W patterns forming. So Aussie dollar Swiss, nice little long. Aussie dollar US dollar, same thing. Nice reversal alert today on that one. You had one yesterday as well, but again, this one on the 4 hour, very extended. The level that we've kind of turned at is here, this double top. So we're getting buying pressure coming in here. It's not particularly strong, but the other thing going for this one is we're in the 24.72 zone, which is where we quite often will see a reversal, and we've been embedded now for a fair amount of time, for almost a week now. We've been embedded on the 4 hour down here, just casually grinding down. So this one's due a nice decent pullback up to these highs, I would suspect. So a good looking opportunity on the Aussie US. Obviously this week is full on news. So everything that you get into this week, don't expect there to be an awful lot of movement until the news is released for that particular currency. So whatever you're trading, if you're trading Aussie dollar, you need to wait until Thursday morning for the unemployment figures. If you're trading anything against US dollar, obviously we've got this afternoon, we've got PPI tomorrow afternoon, we've got a 30-year bond tomorrow, then we've got retail sales as well on Thursday. So there's a hell of a lot of news every day for the US dollar, but all the other currencies obviously have got manipulation events happening as well. Aussies and the New Zealand's obviously happens during the Asian session while we're asleep. So you're going to get good movement during the Asian session, and then correction movement potentially during the London and the New York session. So yeah, really good movement opportunities on all of this at the minute. So Aussie US, it's not quite extended enough for me at the moment, but it's not far off. So it's ticking up nicely, but again, still pushing down. If we get some strength on the US dollar, then obviously this is going to continue in that vein at the moment, which is just continuing to go down. This is Aussie dollar weakness. We've had that massive Aussie dollar strength off the back of the war, where all the money suddenly started to flow into the Aussie and the New Zealand, and it seems to be flowing out now, but we haven't got that yen strength. So until that yen strength kicks in, that should really kick the Aussie New Zealand down further, but we haven't had that yet. So hence I think this is obviously just starting to bottom out. It might just go into a range a little bit similar to what we had 2 weeks ago, but we'll see. CAD Swiss, nice 3-bar reversal going on the CAD Swiss, again straight off of support, textbook. This is the area that we had drawn in. So we had these highs and lows drawn in. This zone here basically is exactly where we've bounced. Nice extension. I'm obviously on the Swissy short with the Swissy yen, but CAD Swiss is just as good. Swiss yen is the one I'm in. So very nicely extended on the 4 hourly. We've got very extended over the top there. This is a risky trade because obviously the yen is just shot at the moment. But I like these yens now. Purely because we've had this sign of weakness starting. This big push here, we had nothing. No profit take whatsoever. And all we've done since then is going to another accumulation phase and starting a new leg up. But normally we would see pushes happening in sort of 2 or 3 legs, typically, before we get the reversal starting. I think because of the speed of this leg here and the length of this accumulation, I don't think there's much left in it before the yen is going to start to get manipulated back down again, or powered up basically for everything to be pushed down against it. So I like this up here to start a position. I'm going to take a couple of positions up here, but we'll see. If it just comes down and hits TP, then so be it. But yeah, very nice extended Swiss yen, still extended. We just got into an accumulation up here. We need to get this low broken. When we get this low broken from yesterday, there's nothing really to stop us until we come down into these sorts of highs there. Pound odd, euro odd. You want to look at, Mace? Euro odd and pound odd, same thing basically. So yeah, euro odd short. Euro always short. Just short the euro. Just keep shorting the euro until something happens that we say actually the euro might be a long, which is highly unlikely. But yeah, shorts on the euro, very nice. Not quite extended enough. Pound odd is better because it's extended on the 4 hour RSI, and we've also got a really nice support resistance as confluence. So that looks really nice for a short. Big strong push. Haven't retested this area at all, so looks good to me. But euro odd as well, just as good. We're up in the 50-61.8 area, which is where you would expect to start to see signs of weakness. Where we are at the moment, though, there's not really any support resistance. There's no reason specifically to turn here, and we have just bounced off of support there as well, twice. So potentially we might have another leg up on here. This is where I'd expect to see us to get to, really. By the time we get up there, we'll have price coming back down on us. But also the other thing you've got going for you on this one is this accumulation drop here. So we accumulated, pushed down, accumulated, pushed down. This propulsion gap here that we're sitting in right now is where we're rejected. So sellers entered here before this big push. This was the final accumulation before that push. So potentially this could be it for the next leg, but we'll see. Pound odd, just cover that one, same sort of thing. Pound yen, nicely extended. Again, same as all the other yens. This one hasn't got up to its highs. ADR today. The pound, we haven't got any news until tomorrow morning, where we got CPI. So with CPI figures, I think CPI is going to be higher than expected, which will be negative for the pound. So I don't think they're going to get up there today to get that put in. They may well use CPI to manipulate up there and then drop. I don't know, but we'll see. I'd be more inclined to short everything against the yen at the moment after these moves, but obviously the pound is very weak, but it's not quite extended enough. It was yesterday basically, but we've now just gone into a little bit of an accumulation again. The thing that worries me about all these yens at the moment is this selling straight back down into support for a bounce back up to here. I'd much rather see it get up here and then take a short. By the time we do that, we'll be up here somewhere, really extended again and ready for another drop. Just a safer trade, safer level. Pound New Zealand, beautiful 24 bounce. I'm on the Euro New Zealand version of this at the moment, but Pound New Zealand just as nice. good extension. We've been embedded up here for a few days. 24 is coming down on top, ready to push down for the next leg. We've got plenty of support, resistance levels coming up for potential bounces on this. This is where we are now. Got another level sort of there. So yeah, there's a few areas basically where we've got potential stopping points. If we break here though, we should be coming all the way back up there. So but we're extended at the moment, so I think when CPI comes out as higher than expected, I think that's when we'll see that obviously starting to come down again, the pound. Euro New Zealand I'm in. This is the one I'm going to yesterday. So yeah, looking for that to drop. Basically just we're continuing market structure on this. So I'm expecting that sort of movement. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Very nice extension on New Zealand dollar Swiss. Looking for New Zealand to power up, which is why obviously I'm short Euro New Zealand as well. But this is lovely in the 24.72 zone, looking to push up and continue this trend. The Swiss franc has got nothing at the minute. The Swiss franc's just really, really neutral to do with what's going on in Ukraine. So any kind of strength we get coming off of the New Zealand dollar is going to bolster that. New Zealand dollar is expected to increase its rate from 1 to 1.25% tomorrow morning, which with rate increases, it literally is a lottery with them when you get the spike. It's all factored into the market, the rate increases. We know, we're warned the rate increases are coming. The movement is all factored in prior to the rate announcement. So when the rate announcement comes out as expected, what we tend to see is a continuation in the currency in whichever direction it's moving, in which case obviously New Zealand dollar is going long at the minute. So we would expect to see that, but they will quite often manipulate, go and grab liquidity and run with it basically. So it can spike either way when the news is released, but the news, if it comes out as expected, which in this case is 1.25% on a 1% prior, you would expect the New Zealand dollar to continue in its current vein. And obviously what they've done in the run-up to the announcement is pull back, ready for next leg. So I would expect us to push tomorrow morning, but at the moment it seems like it's pushing already. So that Euro New Zealand trade that I'm in, obviously I would expect this to spike down during Asia tomorrow. New Zealand dollar Swiss just covered, and that's nicely extended as well up to the 75 level. New Zealand dollar US dollar is also extended. Had that long yesterday, got stopped out on it. So I took this one yesterday because it was extended. We've just taken that liquidity out and pushed back up. We came down, took my stop out this morning, and now we're kind of hovering. So again, same thing with this one. Would expect potentially a push. Not as extended now, obviously on the 4 hour, because we've had that little push up. So this is going to turn off today. US dollar CAD, very nice extension to the upside. Big strong push on this one. Same with the US dollar yen. We've got lots of US dollar news this week. We're coming up to potential resistance level. That's at ADR today. So when we get up to here, this will be our first retest of this level since we basically got there. We broke through it. We came back down, immediately retested it, and then dropped. We haven't been back there since. So this level here looks like a good level that we'll get some kind of reaction at. US dollar weakness, I think, potentially moving forward. So looking for this to basically be a pullback next leg down. But as you can see, it's very, very, very orderly in the way that it's trading at the moment, and very, very slow. It's taken 2 weeks to move, sort of a few ADR really. So it's very, very, very slow mover at the moment. So when we get these big moves that are fast, we will tend to get decent profit takes off of them typically. So very nice extended to the upside, same as the US dollar yen. And the US dollar yen obviously is the one that I'm sitting there with my limit order waiting for the hit based off of this old daily resistance. Yeah. So if we break that level, that'd be a 10-year high. Yeah. Looking for a reaction up here. We've got the initial reaction there. Pull back. Now we're pushing up to try and take out that second level. So looking good. So there's our initial reaction off of the previous high that we looked at there. And now we're coming up to tap into that second one, making a stop hunt M. Everybody that shorted off of that because they saw the resistance bounce has their liquidity there. We've just taken all that liquidity out. So ready for a run. But we are reliant on something happening with the yen to a certain extent, and obviously we need US dollar weakness off of all the news we've got this week. So, but yeah, sitting there with a limit order with everybody else. There's going to be a load of limit orders sitting around this area, ready to trigger. So either way, we should get some kind of reaction negative off of it. And I'll decide based on how I'm doing for the week as to whether or not I take that off on that reaction, or whether I try and take a bigger, longer run at it. But we'll see. But obviously the yen is just risky to short still because, this move. But, everything has got to pull back as we saw previous. And if we look for a measured move on that previous profit take, we should be coming somewhere back down to here. When we hit that top. But that's it on the RSIs. You're in New Zealand, looked at that one already. How are we doing on the DAX? Okay, so I'm short DAX, breakout to the downside. So it looks like we are continuing this trend, but it's very ugly. So we're holding the 2050 moving averages coming down. Much easier to see on the with the shadow in play on this one. So, sell it if it's red, buy it if it's green. Make life simple. So DAX wise on the targets basically. There's not really anything to say until we get down to potentially test this double bottom. So between where we are now is just nothing. There's no support or resistance anywhere in here. That's really all you could class as potentially something that might double bottom. That's ADR, and I want to be out at ADR anyway, because obviously if we get to ADR, typically that is what we do on average. So laws of averages would say that's a good place to take it off. But the speed of movement today is not impressive. So, yeah, we'll see. So I'll monitor this one. I'm 0.7 down so far this morning, which is nothing much. You can grab that back very easily if Putin opens his mouth, which would be nice. He hasn't done that for a while, has he? We haven't heard from Putin for many, many, many days. I wonder if he's still alive. There is a victory potentially coming in. Is it Mariupol we're about to take? I don't know, but the Ukrainians are putting a last stand in one of the cities at the moment. So if that is taken, that will be Putin's first real victory in the war after 6 weeks of trying to take stuff. So I'm pretty sure we will get some kind of announcement if they take that, which will obviously move the markets. So we might see a Putin effect happening over the next couple of days, but we'll see. We haven't had anything for a while. Best trades you can take at the moment when one of them opens their mouth, because obviously the market immediately has a knee-jerk reaction to it, overreacts, and you get a big spike if you're in the right direction of that spike. It's lovely, but we will see. Okay, so that's all I've really got for you this morning. You can see what I'm in. Oil is just pulling back to sort of normal pullback levels at the minute. So should be getting the next leg higher on that one. A little bit of a pullback happening on the DAX at the moment. I'm going to keep this buy stop in place on the DAX in case we do come up and do the gap fill today. If we do come up and do the gap fill, I want to be just automatically getting into it, because if we get a big move that suddenly slams straight through these levels, we can get there in sort of 2 or 3 candles easy. So I'm just going to leave that in place and see. I'm not really that convinced with this price action today. I mean, it's just the lows that we're getting put in on the 1 minute are very, 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 very weak, and we have not even got out of our initial opening range flurry of liquidity at the minute. So we're just in a very, very, very slow, tight trend here, which can be completely undone with one candle. So did I cover gold? I don't trade gold. Oh, sorry, did I cover it? I thought you meant did I get out of my gold trade by covering it? No. You mean did I look at gold? No, I didn't. Whoops. Gold, I'm looking for, well, I would be looking for longs if I traded it, but I don't. So I said yesterday, we're looking for this level here, these levels down here, and these highs basically, and these lows. Yeah. So those are your reaction points at the minute. We pushed straight up and rejected yesterday, and now we're accumulating. Don't know. It's not going anywhere, is it, gold? You're sideways. You're range bound. So you're looking for range bound opportunities. Your range bound opportunities are at the highs and the lows. So these levels, yeah. So I would suspect from here we'll be heading down to 1913 initially, maybe 1907. God, this is weird, isn't it? All the wars. So yeah, those are the levels I'll be looking for drops down to. If we break out of this high here, yeah, sky's the limit. And I say gold you would expect to get bought up. Yeah, gold will get bought up, oil will get bought up. In times of conflict, money flows into commodities and safe haven metals. So, yeah, you'd expect them to go up while the conflict's going on. If Russia turns around and goes, actually, we failed, we're not going to bother anymore, yeah, you could get a very big tank. But don't know. Everything, literally everything you do at the moment is hinging on one word: war or peace. Until then, everything is either volatile as you like, or sideways. Strong trending and squeezing, or range bound. So, yeah, don't know on gold. Blimey. Okay, so why have I just taken a buy? Why have I just taken a buy with 8 contracts? 8 long. Nice profit, but why? ORB. That's weird. Why have I got an ORB? Oh, I've been flicking charts on this, haven't I? Yes, there's a logic problem in the price action toolkit. If you switch charts, it's designed to be put on a chart and you trade it on a chart, obviously. But if you flick charts and the opening ranges are not reset from wherever the chart was before, it keeps the opening ranges in line because I've got opening range breakouts set to true. Right? Yes, Frankfurt. There we go. Okay, I'm going to close that out. That's a cheat. That's not really 1.1% profit, but I'll take it. That was a glitch in the EA. I need to have a look at that. Need to find out why that took that. Basically, if you, with the price action toolkit EA, when you stick it on a chart, obviously what it does is it initially, when it initializes on the chart, it looks for the opening ranges, stores them, and gets ready to do opening range breakouts. And the opening range breakouts work on time. So at 5 minutes past, in my case, because that's where I've got mine set, it stores the opening ranges. If you switch charts, i.e. change a pair and then change it back, it will reinitialize when you change pairs, and it will store new opening ranges. Then if you flip back to an old pair that has the old opening ranges drawn on it, obviously, it will have the opening range levels from whatever you changed to, which we initialized. So got to be a bit careful with EAs when you're flicking charts. EAs are designed to be put on a chart and then used on that chart, not to be flicked backwards and forwards like I'm doing here, which is why I keep it as it is. So just be careful with that. If you want to initialize it again, just go into the settings and just reload your settings. That reinitializes the EA and all the levels will be reset. Not really a lot I can do about that. Just the way MT4 works. Just pushing up at the moment to highs again. So yeah, we just breached it. I was just going to say, so that's the excuse me, market structure short. So we're double topping at the moment there after putting in these lows. So potentially a good spot excuse me, for a short if we're going to continue short today. But like I say, it's difficult with this gap hovering over us at the moment. %70 of these get filled same day. The rest normally within 48 hours. So don't like leaving gaps open. Market doesn't like to leave a gap. So just got this obviously buy stop in place here to reverse if this is going to be the end down here for the session, the lows of the session. If we're going to reverse, getting in, looking for the gap fill up to there. So I'm going to add a second position on when we break that high. If we break that high with 90% sure we're going to make that. So I'm just preparing just in case. At the moment, this obviously is kind of just in a contraction, so we can still break to the downside, but if we are going to break to the upside, just need to be prepared to get additional positions on to get up there. too slow today. Half the challenge, I think, with this, with your scalping, is deciding which time frame to enter on. When you get lots and lots of liquidity, M1 is great. When you've got a slow open like this, M5 is really your best time frame, because we wouldn't really have taken many trades here. But you overtrade on low time frames. This is a problem why everybody loves trading low time frames, because you can make lots of money very quickly. You can also lose lots of money very quickly because you overtrade, because you see too many signals happening. Should have really been trading M5 today, because we had a very slow, methodical open rather than the big spiky open we saw yesterday in New York. So a little bit of a wrong decision to take the low time frame today. Should have been trading on M5, because you can see on M5 we're in a hideous range at the moment. M1 we're obviously chopping to pieces, but still lots of opportunities to get in and get out fast, but just not enough movement today. So, but might stay in this short. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out in the short. There's one gone. So just chopped out this morning, unfortunately. Right. So that's what I've got in play. So looking for the gap fill long and looking for just a short trend, but it doesn't look like we're trending today. It could obviously kick off at any time. As I say, we'll probably wait until 10 o'clock. We've got another hour yet until the German business sentiment is released. Once that's out of the way, we may get some flurry of orders coming into the DAX. So watch this at 10 o'clock. We may well get some decent movement coming in then, but at the moment we're just chopping. So bit choppy. So of that fluke trade, which was a cock up, I'm not going to count that. So 1.2 down so far for the morning. We'll get that back in New York. So we're back at 220 as usual for New York. FX pairs are still doing okay. US dollar yen hasn't got there yet. So the limit's still in place on the US dollar yen. Euro New Zealand is still in the money. Oil is just coming down to break even, although I've already taken one off of that obviously this morning already. And Swiss yen is in profit at the moment as well. So FX is all doing all right. Indices just getting a bit chopped around this morning. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. So yeah, 10 o'clock this morning. Watch out for the Euro and the German indices. Other than that, 1:30 CPI this afternoon. There's your main market mover today, CPI. So keep an eye on the indices and obviously the US pairs around that sort of time. We should see some good movement off of that, hopefully, because it's the only news event we've got today. Other than that, if we don't get a lot, we'll probably find we're going to have one of those days and then all kick off tomorrow. Big day. And obviously then don't forget we haven't got Friday, so the market's really only got today and tomorrow to make its moves. And then Friday and Monday is bank holiday in Europe and UK. So we won't have the the London session to move anything. So okay guys, so I'll leave it there. Anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group, link coming up to that in a second. And I'll be back at 2:20 this afternoon. We will trade the New York session. Have a good one.